What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Autotempest.com. Autotempest is the place, folks, to find used cars on the internet. Whether you are looking for yourself, for someone else to buy, sell, trade, or just killing time, Autotempest is your homie. You know why? Because it saves you the headache of double work. Double work sucks. Work is good. There can be work, hard work, good work, work's fine. But double work, doing the same thing twice, forget about it, folks. Autotempest takes all these car sites all over the internet, puts them together into one easy place for you. It searches them all at once, and then it compares results with all of Craigslist nationally, eBay Motors, and Facebook Market. They've got you covered. They've been taking care of us for a long time, and we use them as well. I use them all the time if I'm browsing around because I don't have the time to look at 10 different sites to see what's out there. They bring it all together for me. So check out Autotempest.com and support the people who support the Smoking Tire when you search for a used car on the internet. We're also brought to you by Crown & Caliber. Look, when it comes to buying a watch, take my advice. You pretty much always, with very rare exception, you pretty much always want to buy that luxury watch used. Most luxury watches take a nice little depreciation hit the second they go out the door, and they're also taken care of pretty well. And so you can take advantage of that situation by getting a secondhand luxury watch from Crown & Caliber. They have in-house technicians that make sure these watches are really working right, and they have a limited mechanical warranty. So even if you buy a vintage watch from them, if it shows up, it starts telling time wrong, they will handle that for you, even if it's an old watch. It's really nice. They buy your watch if you've got something you're not into anymore. Maybe you want to get out of it or trade up into a different watch, trade laterally, do combo deals like I do. I've done like a 3-watch trade, but it's all very easy. If you decide that you don't want your watch anymore, they can buy it from you. It'll be gone within 24 hours. No dealing with shady fools on the internet. It's totally legitimate company because the internet and watches, there's sketchiness that goes on there. And so anytime you can deal with a legitimate company with a quality reputation, you want to do that. It's a stressless way to live. They have a deal going with Breitling right now. So if you want a brand new Breitling, you can trade your old watch to Crown & Caliber and then roll that credit into a new Breitling if you want. They're also giving away a Rolex Submariner. You can enter at crownancaliber.com/TST. It's crownancaliber.com/TST. And if you want to buy a watch, use code TST175 to save $175 off when you buy a watch at Crown & Caliber. crownancaliber.com/TST, folks. See you there with your new wrist hardware. Lastly, Westside Collector Car Storage is now taking deposits for our grand opening very soon. If you are in West LA and you have cars that just don't fit at your place, maybe because you don't have a big enough garage, maybe because you got more cars than space, maybe because your cars are too big or too low, they can't get in the driveway because you got a funky driveway, Westside Collector Car Storage has you covered. Extra low driveway angle entrances, battery tenders at every spot, free LAX pickup and delivery. I basically made a list of the 20 most annoying things about owning a car in Los Angeles, and I built a facility and built up a staff that will handle every single one of them so you can spend the time enjoying your car on our beautiful roads and not dealing with the headaches of owning a sports car in the city. See what it's all about at westsidecollectorcarstorage.com. Alrighty, folks, on this episode of the show, we got a dude who I had been watching on television for a bit. He was on this show, Hyperdrive, on Netflix. His name is Fielding Shredder, which is an awesome name for a race car driver. And on Hyperdrive, it's sort of a American Ninja Warrior for cars. And they had to do some really difficult driving, send it and nail it on the first try. And this dude did a really good job of it. And so I'm excited to have him here to talk about that show, as well as his version of the Hollywood Hustle, Fielding Shredder, on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
Oh, hey, you motherfuckers. What up, Saturday people? Let's hope y'all have very little to do for the next 90 minutes, because here we are. Smoking Tire Podcast on a Saturday. Fielding Shredder in the building. What's up, brother?
What's happening, man?
How are you?
I'm alive and great and happy to be here today.
And, as usual, in our positioning in the building that we're at, in our little shit building here, we're on this corner, and so we can usually tell when our guests are arriving. Because they're always driving something kind of loud.
Sure.
And so I heard the sound of blow-off valve. I heard the sound of a titanium exhaust. I heard something Japanese, and I was like, Fielding's here.
I'm here.
And then I was not disappointed. I went outside to look next to my McLaren demonstrator, and there is your fucking hyperdrive prop car.
The real deal, man.
Dailying the drift car around Los Angeles. True gangster.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
You drove this thing because I follow Axel Francois because I rode right seat with him at Willow for like a random day.
I just met that guy. What a sweet man,
dude. He's like the
what
nicest,
a great guy. Axel Francois,
cool dude. And then I was watching your stories with him. You guys were road tripping, and he's just like, "Oh, Fielding broke down again,
again and again."
So I actually auditioned for Rutledge's job on Hyperdrive before he got it.
Very cool.
And I'm not jealous at all. It worked out great. That show, it was basically Rutledge's racing school.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But let me tell you, there's nothing you want to hear less at the end of an audition for a show than, we love you. We just need to run your headshot by Charlize. And you go, I'll never see you again.
Thanks for your time.
Goodbye. But when I tuned into the show and I watched it because I wanted to support Rutledge, and because when it was sold to me as American Ninja Warrior in cars, I was like, that's a sell.
Right.
Hell yeah. Great for watching on the elliptical machine.
Sure.
Good fucking. But you're the first face you see. The first car you see. Because Zach and I here know how television works, we go, well, this kid's going all the way. That's how TV works. If you're the first person they profile on the fucking first episode, you're going all the way. That's how the show works. And so we knew you'd be a star. So thanks for coming to see us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This is cool.
You were a great lively character on that show. You fucking sent it.
I did.
Dude, so hard. So hard.
That's my only speed, man. That's it.
So what's your background other than being able to slide a car? How do you get into drifting?
I've just, always loved cars and racing and being a jackass behind the wheel. And, as a high school, have any money, have a crappy ass Honda and whatever. And then I see drifting on TV or really on like a YouTube video. And I'm just like, holy shit, this is way cooler than anything I've ever seen. I have to try this. So me and a couple buddies bought some S13s, and we just drove them around like dicks for the entire summer. And
where was this? Where are you guys from?
In Houston, Texas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of room for that kind of stuff.
A lot of room
outside of Houston.
and a lot of rain this particular year, so it's easy to slide around 100 horsepower, 240, And by the end of the summer, I was the only one who hadn't crashed my car, and so I'm like, hey, maybe I got a knack for
last
this.
man standing. All right.
Yeah. So
to finish first.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just kind of always had that passionate mind, and I blew the car up, and then my dad was like, you need to go to school and stop like messing with these cars. What are you doing? And so I sold the car, went to college, but just always had the itch, and decided once I had a job and enough money to buy a proper drift car, I would. And so I did. I bought that car, the S14 you see.
It's a good-looking car.
Really good looking.
It is.
Thank you. I bought that for myself for my 21st birthday with the intention of drifting it and using it to kind of go down this career path in some manner. I didn't really have a plan except that I wanted to slide around.
I mean, that's a good place to start. Sure. I mean, a lot of people do email us and they go, how do I get into motorsport? And strangely, it doesn't occur to them to build or buy a car and just enter events using the entry forms on their websites, which is like kind of what you do.
Show up and drive.
Yeah. So did you buy this thing stock or fucked or what?
It was completely stock, interior, exterior, suspension. It had an SR20 in it, and that's it. 100% stock otherwise. It was my daily at the time. I street drove it every day to work and all that, which was hilarious. Then I got a ticket for 100.
Caged?
No cage or anything when I bought it. Yeah, it is now, obviously, but I got a ticket for 125 and a 65.
Whoa.
And so
good ratio.
Yeah.
More than
double.
to only get a ticket.
Right.
More than double. In Texas, they call that minor speeding. In Texas, you're really just getting into the red there.
Yeah. So, I went and fought the ticket, and I was like, I told the DA, I'm like, there's no way my 10, 15-year-old Nissan 4-cylinder even goes that fast, you know? And she's like, even if they were 30 miles per hour off, you were still going 95.
That's like funny. That's a funny retort.
I didn't think about that.
It is, yeah. 50% margin of error is still deeply speeding, sir.
Right.
Your Honor, there's no way my client could have gone this fast in this hunk of shit.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
I have heard this argument used before, and in some cases with some success. You didn't think of it out of nowhere. That's come from somewhere.
Right.
People have used that before. There's no way my Plymouth Neon was doing 150, sir.
Right.
They don't know what an SRT4 is with a turbo the size of a fucking lawnmower on it.
That was the best part. I'm like, oh, shit.
But isn't this a 6-cylinder car now?
It is now, yeah. So it started life as a 4-cylinder, and, I slowly, one paycheck at a time, modified it and built it myself. And, here we are 10 plus years later. It's got a Supra motor in it. It's a 2JZ. It's got a big turbo, and it normally runs on ethanol, so makes about 500 horsepower. This trip,
that's a good amount for a drift car.
It's perfect.
It's a single turbo?
Yep, single turbo. It weighs 2,800 pounds with me in it.
Nice.
And
where do you where in the range do you get boost with that setup?
So right now it's a T3 twin scroll Zona rotor, and it comes on real strong at like 3,200.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and so the VVTi is turned on, so it's got like a very broad torque range. Yeah. So it'll hit 18 pounds by 3,500.
That's cool. Yeah, what you want to avoid is that really top end only where you have to go to first all the time. Otherwise, you're just not getting anything out of it. Yeah, that's good.
It's
Wide is good.
It's very torquey, very broad power band. It's great.
Did you consider an RB to keep it in the family, or did you give a shit?
I didn't, and then later down the road, I bought a Skyline in Japan.
Oh, did you?
And I fucking hate the RB.
Do you really?
It left me stranded so many times.
I've heard
that's unfortunate.
They're the
they
worst.
have like the oiling problem, the oil pump gear, whatever, shatters a lot. They're legends because of the power they can make, and because of the cars they're in, but they don't really compare to the 2J in terms of reliability, right?
Correct. And cost per horsepower is 10 times on the RB, especially in America.
I like Skylines for what they are.
Sure.
I had an R32 very briefly, and it was stock, and it was lovely. Of course, so nice. And it had the oil pump pinion thing done or whatever that was, so it didn't explode. But they're great.
Was it RB26 or 25?
No, it was a 26. It was a Skyline GTR. So it was R32 GTR. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, compared to to a 25.
Yeah,
oh,
25s are way worse.
Oh
that's
yeah.
what I had.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, the 26 it's worth the premium you pay
for sure.
Yeah. You maybe get another one down the road.
We'll see. Maybe
you get all the money.
Maybe I just get a 2J swapped Skyline and then be.
Oh, dude, just really fucking annoy people.
Yeah.
But it would work. Did you buy it in Japan and drive it around Japan, or did you ship it over, or what was?
So a bunch of buddies of mine, every year we go to Ebisu in Japan, and you have the opportunity to buy a car and drift it on the mountain. And so I bought a Skyline with a friend, and we just thrashed this thing.
Every year?
Every year we go.
Well,
wow.
Did they have a thing there where you can't rent a drift car, or maybe I think there's one company now you can, but more people will go and buy one and they'll store it, or it's something like that?
Yeah, so the company's called Power Vehicles. You go over there and you pay, between $4,000 and $20,000 depending on what car you want, and then you store it there, and it's like $50 a month to keep it there year round.
That's awesome.
It's great. Yeah.
Oh my
God. And they have on-site tires and fuel and mechanics and parts and everything.
So do you still own a drift car over there?
I totaled it about 3 times, and then eventually I gave it away.
Yeah. But that's not a bad idea, though. If you can, if you decide that that's part of your routine, that's pretty awesome.
So it's the most iconic and incredible drift tracks in the world, and you're driving with the best drivers in the world during a couple certain weekends called Matsuri, which is a drift festival. And so I've been literally on track driving against other beat up shit boxes. And then I get out, I'm in tandem, dicing it up. And then I get out, and there Daigo Saito gets out of the car in front of me. And I'm like, what? What was
Dude,
that?
that's so rad. What time of year is that?
So there's 3, but the biggest one is in the autumn. So November, first week in November usually.
That sounds real cool.
It's unreal. It's 36 straight hours of drifting. They never close any track, and there's not a single safety worker on the mountain. Seriously, yeah. And so it's just all self-reliant. Don't kill yourself, and if you do, just go away so no one else's fun is over.
That sounds like something worth seeing.
Hell yeah,
it's awesome. The coolest thing ever. There's literally 50 car trains of tandem, and you have to jump out on track when you see someone like make a mistake. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there waiting.
Do you have to be amazing to, if you're like only okay, would you even bother showing up to do this? Or is it like, if you're not awesome, just fucking stay home?
I mean,
or stay
go
in your car.
I wouldn't go for the Matsuri. So I would go any other time when the tracks are much more open and free. But go for the Matsuri to experience that and like ride passenger and film, because it's unreal experience. But as a driver, you need to know what you're doing, and like some accident avoidance would be very good skill to have, because that happens a lot.
Let's go 2 weeks before.
Bro, practice.
I'm down. I'll go halves on a car.
So that's what we
Split
do.
something?
Fuck yes.
We go a
10
week.
G's, leave it. All right.
We go a week before. We
I'd
practice
want to
all the
sell
tracks.
it when we were done. I don't want to keep it there, but
we could do that too.
Yeah. You can rent cars too, but
Can you?
But it's depending on what it looks like at the end of your rental.
Right.
It can be
Right.
kind of expensive.
But I imagine maybe if you committed, you could probably buy something and then like either like consign it back to them or like leave it with them to sell it for you or something like that.
You can absolutely do all those things. They'll buy it back, for
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I would recommend for everyone listening, you need to buy a JZX, a Toyota.
A Chaser JZX?
It doesn't have to be a Chaser, but any JZX chassis is the best thing to have at Ebisu, straight up.
Why is that?
They're the most reliable. They come with JZ, either 1J or 2J. All the parts availability is the main one. So like finding a radiator for my Skyline was almost impossible. And then when I found one, it was $300 for a stock one. I'm like, what? Whereas JZX
in Japan.
Oh, on the mountain.
You'd think in Japan that would be something that was okay. In America, I understand the tax. But
Exactly. Finding a power steering pump for my Skyline took 3 days.
Really?
In Japan.
That kind of shit matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're racing, that
I'm wasting
matters.
hundreds of dollars a day standing on a mountain watching my friends have fun. Fuck that. I
Yeah,
wanna
it
drive.
doesn't matter when the Skyline is your 6th car here in America. You
Right.
park it until the fucking Amazon package shows up. But my Skyline, the air conditioning broke. I mean, the air conditioning broke. Basic.
Yeah.
Literally unfixable. I tried 4 different shops. They were like, get out of here.
Nope.
That shit's got hot for life, son.
Yeah.
The Chasers, though, are real cool because on the outside, they look like our late 90s Camrys, kind of.
Right.
Kind of like a Lincoln LS a little bit.
And then on the inside, they've got some fun Lexus bits, but also are sort of sleepy Toyota-y.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
But they're kind of like long wheelbase Supras.
Yes.
They mob. Oh, that 3-wheeled motion. That's fantastic.
I mean, I've seen that live. That's actually, if you want to look up a video of me doing that in my Skyline, it's on YouTube.
Unfortunately, we can't play YouTube videos, but we can show people where to get it later. It's a copyright deal.
Gotcha.
Throw it on your Instagram. We'll put it on the next show.
So millions of people have seen it already. NK picked up the video and put it as their commercial, and every round of Formula Drift for 2018 played this commercial.
Whoa,
Solid.
no way.
It was
That's cool.
hilarious. Yeah, and
Someone needs some points on this one.
yeah, of course, there's no like tag or anything,
Right.
But like watching live, we were at Formula D Texas with a bunch of friends, and that came up on the big screen, like the world's largest TV, and everyone's just like, "That's you!"
That's awesome.
It was great.
I play one on TV.
Doesn't Ibiso have like the jump turn entry?
that's jump
what I'm
drift,
talking
right?
about. It's
Yeah.
so that
Nuts.
course is called Manami. And it's exactly what I was talking about. So of course I've watched
Oh
these
my
videos.
god, that
Yeah.
image right there,
Yeah.
that's some air.
Yeah, I've watched these videos of Daigo and other guys doing it, so I'm like, well, I'm fucking here. Let me do it. Let me try it, and you'll see.
And
that
that still is crazy because in that image, I'm sure that's a carefully selected image. The front wheels are about a foot in the air,
Right.
and it appears that one of the back wheels is touching.
The back left might be touching still.
it's a straight up jump. Like the car is 4 tires off.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Is it? How do you? I mean, do you handle that landing kind of like you think you would? You just sort of drift it out, or is there something real funky that happens when you land?
So if you don't stay on throttle and stay committed, then you immediately total your shit into a concrete wall.
Is that what happened to you 3 times in a Skyline?
only twice at this track, and then another time was at a different track. But yeah, you can.
I mean, some of the best images of drifting of all time were from that corner. It's just cars sideways through the fucking air. I mean,
Exactly.
it's when they do it in tandem, it's bad shit.
It's unreal.
How does,
Fucking guy.
if people want to have fun at home, search Speed Hunters. We came for the jump. Not even sorry.
Yeah.
How does the car handle that kind of force when it comes down?
I mean, it's very abusive. You know, you'll blow out coilovers after X number of jumps, and
It's a downhill landing, though, right? Like a ski jump.
It is,
So it's not
a little
as
bit.
bad as it could be.
yeah. Well, as the ground falls away, that loads the car even more when you land. So you have to land on throttle, and like if you just bottom the car out and hope that it didn't break something.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you can imagine like struts just being punched right through hats and all kind of craziness.
Yep.
That's gnarly. See, if you set up a drift car for that circuit, maybe like a more rally style suspension setup might be the way to do it. Throw some body roll in there to save you.
They actually put like wedge and stuff. Like they'll
they
hike
do?
the right rear up a little more. You know.
Oh, they NASCAR it up. They make it like
bit,
asymmetric. Yeah, that's gangster.
It is. It is. They're like, well, I can get another inch of air. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do they should really put one of those rulers on the wall there, like
cool.
like with BMX.
That's a great idea. Wow.
Can we talk about Hyperdrive for a minute?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Our friend Andrew Comrie Picard designed the course for it, and they did a bitchin' job. The course looked fun. Was it as fun to drive this course as it looked?
It was
annoying?
Unbelievable. So there was a lot of annoying parts that people don't realize at home, and myself included, and that's like
what?
The lights in your eyes and the cameras blocking every visible glass surface in the car, and then them sending it at night with no practice, first try. So everything you saw was first try.
That's amazing. That's fucking good driving. And not just from you, from a bunch of people who are really, really good at driving.
Absolutely.
But did they actually have light bars in the car to light your face while you're driving?
Lots of them.
Dude, that's
you
the
can see it.
worst. Oh, it's a nightmare. It's like just the discrepancy in that to try and drive. I mean, and then they have water.
Yeah. No, I already can't see out of my car, and it's what I mean, like much worse with light. And it at one point too, like this light bar is literally shining on my face, and I'm like, I can't see shit, y'all. My windshield's all steamed up. So I reached up there to turn it down, and the producer immediately comes over and he's like, "Don't touch this shit. This is my," he like turns it way back up, and I'm like, "Bro, I can't see." And he's like, "I don't care. I can't see your face." And
Crash
with
honor.
Yeah, I'm like, what if I crash? And he goes, "That'll make great TV." And I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, dude.
This is real.
Bro, you're a cog in the fucking wheel,
I
man.
see this now. Damn, I'm not talent. I'm just cannon fodder.
I mean, that is incredibly truthful.
Yeah.
It is. I've known a lot of TV producers and crash with honor.
Yep.
You know what it is that. Like, you signed up to fuck your car up hard for the benefit of those people at home.
Of everyone else, not you. Yeah.
You can just see, like, when they cut to your guys' in-car shots, like, you're lit up.
Yeah.
It is nighttime, and it's not nighttime in the car.
No,
you can read.
And as like pretty as the track looks, the actual surface was not lit at all. Like, all the obstacles were lit and stuff, but we couldn't see the ground almost at all. And that coupled with the lights and stuff. At one point, they put a camera on my A-pillar bar, and it was blocking the rearview mirror. And I'm like, "You guys want me to do a reverse 180? I need to be behind me."
I have no mirrors at all.
Right. And they were just like, "Well, you're like a pro driver, right?" I'm like, "Not really." And they're like, "Well, this is the shot we want." I'm just like,
also,
okay.
Even if you
pro,
are, like,
right?
most of the people on this show are definitely not pro drivers. They're good amateurs.
Sure, that was the point too. They actually said they didn't want any pros.
They kind of loopholed that a little bit where they got pros from other countries that people just sort of haven't heard of.
The Americans get
Four
slaughtered.
of them are like instructors. It's like, oh wait, you're not a pro in America, but you're Brazil's drift champion.
Right.
Yeah, and then the guy that won was
Brazilian.
Was he Brazilian? Oh, those two guys. The guy in the Mustang, which was a sick car.
Bro, that kid
he was
was an
Brazilian,
animal.
and then the kid was 21. He was also Brazilian. Yeah,
They were
top
both
five
in Mustangs.
were.
Yeah.
No, that kid, Diego.
Diego.
What's his last name? Higa. Yeah, he was an animal. He was a laser focused machine.
He's a robot.
Robot.
We called him the Terminator on set because he didn't have a single facial expression, but he was out there to just like win.
He was the fucking Senna incarnate, in drifting, where he's like, "My God will take me through this course."
Right.
Fuck, just like, oh shit, maybe God really does look after this motherfucker, huh? And he's got that father that like when they get home, if he doesn't go well, like, oh Jesus.
I think that was part of the motivation for him, for sure.
Just please don't beat the shit out of me.
Right.
I'll hit every target, I promise.
I must win.
It was a great cast of characters on that show. They did I think a pretty fun job casting fun people and in a real international. Some of the women drivers were great.
They were all phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did. That was probably one of the better parts of the show. Is the casting was just so good.
The variety of people and cars was really, really cool.
Yeah. few too many Mustangs for me, but
Right.
But at least one of them was like a 60s Mustang that had almost like pre-runner suspension set up.
Right.
It was super squatted back. It was rad.
I think it was gangster. That was the unicorn or the what's it called?
It was basically like the unicorn.
Yeah, basically
sort of,
the get a rat rod unicorn thing.
cool.
Yeah, and that chick Sarah in basically a stock fucking V6 Mustang
stock V6.
mobbing.
Yep.
That's awesome. You can go a long way without much hardware.
Yeah, same with Brittany, a stock 350Z. And she made it all the way to the top 10. Like, that's impressive. Seriously.
Yeah. And stock 350Zs suck.
Totally, they're terrible. I mean,
I'd take a V6 Mustang over a 350Z for drifting.
Really?
Stock for stock?
Well, the only 350Z I've slid is Drift 101s.
That thing has been set up.
That's got like coilovers and a supercharger.
Yeah, it's been
but
set up.
aren't 350Zs? It seems like they're becoming the new 240 because 240s got so expensive.
And 240s suck. They're crappy.
Really?
They're so crappy. Like, they're only good after you dump enough money into them to buy a 350Z.
Wow. I always felt, I guess the ones I've driven, even though they just had basic coils, they always felt incredibly natural while sliding. Like the chassis, and people still compete like in FD and whatever in Pro 2 with a chassis that's 20 years old or 30 years old. So it seems to speak to that car's like natural ability, but is that just a setup thing? Like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Because
well, in the beginning, it was one of the few lightweight, inexpensive, rear-wheel drive, manual, no driver aids cars you could buy. And so that made it already, a huge leg up. And then it's very well balanced, and stock, they have a pretty decent amount of steering angle. But today, there are much better modern chassis that have much better everything.
Okay.
But because there's been so much development over the years in the aftermarket for the S chassis, it still is a very dominant chassis to drive, and they're very natural and very easy to drive. So a lot of times, even if the car's not quite as good, if it's easier to drive, you can be more competitive.
Gotcha.
That's a good point. Yeah. And like all problems have been solved. Like there's nothing you could even dream of doing with one of those that somebody somewhere hasn't figured out and made a procedure for.
Except maybe take it through a shipping container jump.
That's a good
on
point.
Hyperdrive.
that was
totally good
gnarly,
point.
dude.
Yeah, and so that the leveler thing. So okay, for people who've never seen Hyperdrive, it was a cool show.
Go watch it, and then watch all the way to the end. I have to always say that. 'Cause so many people stop after like Ep 6, and I'm like, what the hell? You missed the best part.
No, it gets gnarly.
It gets insane.
So, TV is such an interesting thing because they always find the randomizer.
Yep.
So if they have a competition show about driving, from a TV producer's perspective, you don't make a show where just the best driver is going to win. That's not how this shit works. You need a fucking random equalizer because the point is to keep the competition as tight and tense as possible. So they built this funky ass bridge.
The leveler.
The leveler is an amazing thing to see.
It is.
And you had to drive up on it and make it level, and it was weighted unevenly with water that would slosh around. So what was the strategy for making this thing work?
It was impossible. That was the worst.
Being good at driving doesn't actually have anything to do with it.
And that was the most frustrating thing for me, because I'm like, I can fucking drive, but I can't balance a stupid ass leveler. Like, what is the deal?
Well, that's what the thing. They throw in a thing where it's impossible that anyone's ever even practiced it. And so it's also like, how fast can you get your car from first to reverse and first to reverse and first to reverse? And like, you have a spotter and like communication and like people that were amazing at driving sometimes just couldn't fucking figure it out.
Exactly. So a couple things about it. One, the spotter's feed that he was seeing had like a 1 second delay. So by the time he's telling me to stop or go forward, the leveler's already moved. Like, I'm already sure.
That's a huge problem.
Huge problem, right?
Huge problem.
I'm sure it's completely accidental too.
Yeah. And then, right. And then another thing is that depending on when you went in the night, like I often went earlier in the day, and then some of the other teams, I won't name who, but you can probably figure it out. They had to go to the bathroom as soon as I was on the leveler, and they would go watch me do it and be like, oh, he stopped there. That's where you stop. And so they would know right away where to tell them, tell the drivers to stop. So there was a little bit of gaming involved, unfortunately. And then another thing is that they moved the weight every night.
Yeah.
So you never could like practice it. Even if you got it, the next night the ballast was changed. So it was so difficult to get that thing. And I'm like, this is not a driving skill.
It's not.
There's
nothing to do with it.
There's nothing to do with it. But the women were unbelievably good at that. I think they have like a better equilibrium or something.
Oh, maybe.
Because they all crushed it. And all the guys were just like, where's reverse? Like,
I actually found a couple of people who told their spotters to just shut the fuck up and let them do it actually were able to do it better than having someone yapping in their ear the whole time.
Totally.
Well, it makes sense if there's a delay that if you're just doing if the spotter isn't helping, it's just gonna like add sensory input
it's
that's
just
gonna confuse you.
noise?
You're like, I'll just
Yeah.
do it by feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That creates the panic situation like Uncut
Exactly.
Gems,
Well,
where you get the overload, information overload, and
Like
shut
parallel
down for
parking
panic.
with 2 phone calls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you couldn't see anything either. Remember, it's pitch black and you drive up this 6-story leveler. You're looking into a black sky with no frame of reference. You don't even know when it's like starting to come down.
Whoa.
It was so difficult. So hard. And the guys with like the dog box or sequentials,
Yeah.
they were boned. 'Cause
That's
they couldn't,
that's the guys I was
Yeah,
thinking
they're
about. I was like, oh my god, straight cut gears.
Yeah.
These dudes are crunching. To go, it's like you're plowing snow. First reverse, first reverse, just crazy.
And oftentimes we came from the water feature onto the leveler, so like tires are wet. You're on this metal corrugated thing. I was just doing burnouts on it, trying to move. Like,
I mean, you could see tire tracks on the thing in this photo.
The 10 coolest stunts. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed. I thought the combination of the real driving, really showing off the real driving and getting great angles of the different stunts.
For sure.
Using lights, at least as a viewer, I thought they did such a good job. And they spent a lot of money on this fucking set, dude.
they spent a lot.
They spent a lot of money.
They rented out a city for several months. Like, that's so expensive.
Other than the leveler, what was the hardest thing you had to do driving-wise on the show?
Let me think. There were actually lots of stunts you guys didn't even get to see.
That got cut?
Really?
They got cut, yeah.
Whoa.
Our runs were closer to 10 minutes.
Oh my God,
every
really?
night. It was an unbelievable amount of driving. And I don't know, for whatever reason, production things, they got cut. But
well, that's
in terms
interesting
of-
because you'd have to cut it across the spectrum, right? So if you everybody runs 10 obstacles and you'd go, number 7 is boring for all of them. Or whatever, yeah.
That sucks if someone nailed number 7, but then they fucked up ones that were kept. Like they
or mystery damage just appears.
that happened multiple
continuity
times.
damage.
I could point it out to you if you wanted to see. Like, there were a couple drivers that there were reasons why some of these obstacles were cut. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that fire hose thing,
the water thing.
the water thing. You could see after that happened. Man, how many producers fucking had a log in their pants after
No
that?
kidding.
For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, you had to do this thing where you basically did a launch and then a donut around a cone and back out from where you came, and you had like 10 seconds to do it, or they shot a fire cannon at your car.
Had 1,400 gallons of water in 2 seconds.
Yeah. It seemed like a
Talk
good plan
about-
until the first time it actually hit someone's car and completely decimated her windshield,
Yeah.
sending glass into her face.
Into her eyes.
It was
Literally
horrible.
into her eyes, and they like put her on an ambulance and rushed her to the hospital. And then the next, like within 1 minute, they told her husband, "Okay, you're up."
Oh yeah, and he did it.
He had to go.
He had to go, did it, and then
Yeah.
they canceled it after he fucking did it. I
Yep.
forgot about
That's
that.
right. It was nuts. And he's like, my wife's like on the way to the hospital. They're like, yeah, you're up.
Bro, TV's ruthless.
It was
bro.
ruthless.
Yeah.
It was.
Your wife's time is not worth set time. Let's
Right.
go.
And he crushed it too.
Chop, chop.
He turned off that part of his brain and went, full driver, and he did a good job.
That was a really interesting couple. The Germans, I guess they do they have a small school over there they run, or are they semi-pros? The husband and
they're
wife.
semi-pros, yeah, and they do a lot of drifting. I don't know if they have a school or not. I'm not sure, but
I think
they run like a modification shop together. or
Oh,
something.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, he had like an E28 5 Series that was real cool.
Yep.
And then the wife drove an E500
Yep.
coupe drift car, which is such an odd choice.
yeah, and both of them had the E39 V8 from the M5.
That, like, what a strange car to drift. And look at this thing. And it's a 500 coupe from last generation. Who the fuck makes a part for this?
Right.
Where do you get anything?
I think
they
everything
make
was
their own.
handmade.
Yeah.
That's like, talk about an uphill battle.
Hell yeah.
Like, let's just start with a car that's like not a performance car.
Right.
That has virtually no performance opportunity available for it because
Yep.
all the shit's for the sedan, the 63 stuff. Not a manual gearbox.
Right.
what are we doing?
Like, well, the first thing we're doing is
straight
ripping
up dare to be different.
the Mercedes engine out and putting a BMW engine in
That's
it.
crazy. So they were both running M5 engines?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Both were, and they were fast too. Like both of them were very dialed.
That was a cool couple. I like them.
Yeah, I do
like
too.
their attitude too. Even after she got a face full of glass, she was still pretty cool about it.
She was a trooper, man.
What a beast.
She was not there to fuck around. She's ready to win.
In Germany, her nickname is Drift Beast. This is from an article.
No, she looks like if you crossed her, she'd hit you with a handbag with a fucking 1,000 PSI of force.
Yeah, if you look
She'd
at her
fuck
wrong,
you up.
for sure. But she was a sweetheart otherwise, you know, if you're on her good side.
Yeah.
They were super cool. They had their whole family there. It was really, honestly, the whole group, minus maybe one or two, were awesome.
Did you find the experience of being a contestant on a reality show fun, or did you find it kind of draining and ultimately like, oh.
Yeah, it was definitely like a wake-up call to this world, you know. My first project like this, and it was all-night shoots. So we would go from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and then that was for 3 weeks straight. So it was quite the adjustments to make there.
Inverted sleeping?
Yep.
Yeah.
All the foreigners were like, "Oh, we're right on time. Like, no problem." So,
We stay on Germany time. It's okay.
Yeah. And they wouldn't, like, the crew wouldn't let us sleep on set. They were just like, "No, we want you in the crowd looking excited and stuff."
Yeah,
And we're like, I'm like completely obliterated and drained. I just had 10 minutes of adrenaline, you know, in my veins. I'm crashing. They're like, "Nope, here's a Red Bull."
Could you actually see anything from the grandstands beside the start finish line? Were there at least monitors or something so you could watch?
Yeah, so we had monitors of certain obstacles. Some of them they would shut off. You know, they'd go black whenever they would go on, like the leveler, for example, or some of the other ones that had an element of like gaming, where they didn't want you to see the pattern, like the light box where you saw the Simon Says kind of thing. They didn't want you to see the pattern, so you couldn't guess where it was going to be.
Right.
So they didn't really play it up too much, but that was a cool thing because they would show, it had 4 boxes. They would light them in different colors.
Yeah, that's it.
And, you know, when it was green, that meant that box, and you have to go in the order of the green ones. Well, what they didn't really accurately show is they were flashing all kinds of colors. And in all random order, and you just had to go in the order of the green ones, right?
Oh, dude, I'm colorblind. I'd have been fucked.
Yeah, so
are you
Excel is
colorblind?
colorblind.
Really?
Excel, and he was like, I can't see the colors, like straight up. And they were like, well, I guess your spotter's gonna have to tell you what's good.
That's
oh my
so
God.
dick.
Yeah. So
Quadrant 3.
Right.
Quadrant 3.
right. And so another part of it though is they said, because this color pattern took like literally 40 seconds to finish, right? They were like, you can go whenever you want, and the colors will just stop. And so what I did, and I wish they had showed this better, is I waited until the second green, and then I'm like, there's going to be one of the other two. I'm not waiting the rest of the time. I'm gone. So I did that, and I just gambled. You know, I was like, I know the first one, I know the second one. I'm going to guess the third one's right next to it. So I did that. The
and
whole
it just
thing
worked
lit
out?
up, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm out.
Nice.
It was really good.
I would have guessed that if I was making this show, that they would have had like a, for lack of a better term, a chess timer, so that each time you completed an obstacle, okay, clock off, and then you went to the clock on. If for production reasons, did they have you run the whole course in real time, or was it a pause between obstacles followed by a time in kind of thing?
Right. So there were a couple obstacles where you stopped at a red light, and they would basically just to set the drones and safety stuff. So for the leveler, for example, there was always a red light before the leveler. They had major safety concerns about that, obviously. They don't want anyone getting hurt on that giant thing. So because of that, we did have a stop there. And there was one or two other obstacles where there was a short pause so that they could just like make sure the drones are in position, basically.
Right.
Because these drones are flying around the entire city as quick as they can. And it was a team of 3, you know, one way above and then a couple flying through, and it was really cool.
They got to get that
shot
guy
really well. It was shot really well, and I think the evolution of the obstacles was really good because, you know, otherwise, I mean, for the audience, you start to predict the obstacles and go, oh, okay, they're doing this thing again. But the second episode, when they're like, now we're adding a thing, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then for the drivers, it challenges you guys so that it's not always the same course.
Absolutely.
And you can't like go, okay, well, I'm really good at these 3 things, and that person's clearly going to go on to win it. I thought it was really creative.
That was
really
actually
cool.
a big challenge. You know, when you show up on set at 6, we all kind of meet for a little safety briefing, and then around 7, they give you this printed out Google map that's just like black and white with a marker drawn on it. And they're like,
boy.
Here's your map. And you're just like, oh my God.
No, wait, no track walk?
No. Nothing,
Really?
no.
On the fly navigation?
Literally like They would sometimes, depending on how the set design was going, they would take us all in a van and just kind of drive half of it. But they're like, they can't drive over the leveler. They can't drive through the slalom. They can't do that. So they're just like, yeah. So you go from here, then you go over here and do a reverse 180, and then you come around here, and don't forget to not go around this gravel road or whatever. And we're just like, I have to do this in 2 hours, like in the dark first try. They're like, yeah.
Considering that, I'm surprised not more people didn't just straight up get lost. Or if they did, maybe it's just boring and they edited it out. But
there were a couple. Wacky from UK got super lost. That was hilarious. He reversed for like half a mile trying to find this. And then
it seems like if you got lost, you might have a real hard time figuring out.
Honestly, like if you got lost bad enough, you could end up on the highway straight up. Really? Yes, we were right by the highway with like very minimal blockage, where you could absolutely end up just like, I'm at a Texaco. What the hell's happening right now?
Anybody need a beverage?
What's the obstacle here? Get 3 slushies and put them in your car.
3 donuts around pump 1, and
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you obviously want to be a drifter on a professional level, right? Isn't that your goal? To do some
I just
driving?
I just want to drive cool shit all the time for the rest of my life. I don't necessarily aspire to drive in Formula D. It's way too expensive. Like if a pro team approached me and said, hey, we got a car, we got a team, we got a program, we want you to drive, fuck yeah, I'm there. But if someone was like, hey, we want you to build a drift car and go compete pro, I'm like, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars that I don't have. I'm not trying to rack up credit card debt to do it. No, I'm out.
What's your day hustle?
So I actually have 4 different jobs.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm a fabricator for a vintage race team. So
cool.
I help build and maintain some really cool collectible vintage race cars.
Oh, cool. What kind of cars?
We've got a 97 Formula 1 car. It's a Benetton F1. Yeah, driven by Gerhard Berger. And I also work on 87 Krakow Indy car, which was driven by Michael Andretti.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And like some old rich guy goes and vintage races these things?
Yep. It's
so isn't it crazy that like it's like, oh no, to drive this car this season you have to be Michael Schumacher.
Right.
Next season you need to be a dentist who's done a 3-day school.
Right.
God, that's funny.
that's the car.
Is it this one?
That's
the
it?
one. Yep.
That's the Krakow, the Indy car? Mm-hmm. What year is that car, give or take?
87.
So how fast will this thing go? Like over 200?
It's about 1,000 horsepower.
Fuck out of here, is it?
It's a Cosworth V8 with a gigantic turbo on it. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, and it runs like pure alcohol, like no intercooler or anything.
Is the person who owns and drives this presumably for recreation, how far off of a period Indy car's pace are they?
Oh, I mean, it's like, it's not even
right. So it's just shits and giggles.
He literally just does track days. Like
with that?
Yeah.
What a fucking gangster
Isn't that
move.
awesome,
I mean, to show up at a track day and be like, all right, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. The best part, like someone's pulling out their McLaren Senna and he's like, that thing's a piece of shit. Straight up.
I was at a track day recently and I had a 720S press car, which if you're at a normal track day, that is a cheat code.
Right.
You're fucking people up in one of those things.
For sure.
I mean, and a guy pulled out a Daytona prototype.
Yeah.
Straight up, like 4-year-old DP car with a Riley and, the whole deal. And I think in the McLaren, I saw 181 on the front straight. This guy was going over 200.
Easily. Yeah.
I was like, okay, bye. And and it was not expensive, actually.
That's cool.
I mean, I think the car was like $100,000.
Well, I think the prices fall down because it's so hard to run them.
Yeah, with the maintenance. Yeah. So when that guy wants to go drive that Indy car, do you pit support too?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How big of a team do you need to run something like that?
I mean, you should have like 5 or 6, but we do it with 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, what would you get? And I don't know what, like if I wanted to go out and buy a vintage Indy car, what's cheaper to run, the Indy car or the F1 car?
The Indy car significantly cheaper. Yeah.
So if I wanted to buy an 80s or 90s Indy car and do a couple of track days a year in it, how much do you think it would cost me to run that for like a day or something like that?
So the car is, between $200,000 and $300,000, I think. Maybe a little cheaper depending on its lineage. This one was Michael Andretti, so it's a little fancier.
Yeah, race cars can be all over the place. It could be $5 million or $5,000. It just depends who sat in the seat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then your crew, you're going to have to put tires and fuel. There's a fair amount of maintenance that goes along with it. I don't know. You could probably do a track day for like 20 grand.
Okay.
Something like that.
I mean, look, it's a lot, but IndyCar.
I mean, yeah, like the experience of driving that.
Yeah.
20 grand is cheap.
Crazy.
You know, compared to like what it would take to do that.
Yeah.
So.
What are the other 3 gigs?
So I also am an instructor at Rally Ready Driving School.
Oh.
So I teach people how to drive rally cars and off-road anything. We have UTVs. We have trophy trucks. We have.
Where's this?
This is in Austin.
Austin.
You
Yeah.
did this, Zach?
Yeah, so I went here to film a bit for Drive this season with Dave, who's the instructor there, where
He's the
he
owner,
like
yeah.
taught me how to rally in 6 hours. But the facility is amazing
It is.
it's huge.
Yep.
You guys have like your kind of Raptor trophy truck course, which is really cool. How many is it?
It's 140 acres. We've got about 7 miles of stage rally, and you can run anything from little go-karts all the way up to full-blown trophy trucks.
Bitchin'.
Yeah, it's super fun. If you come out to Austin,
I would love to
It's
come do that.
really fun.
This
It
looks like a
is.
nicer version of the Firm, basically.
Yeah.
You know the Firm in Florida?
I do. Yep.
I mean, look, for a friend of ours owns it, and
Okay.
for what it is,
Yeah.
awesome.
Sure.
Free for all.
Of course.
There's not much there,
Yeah.
but there's some dope trails and a lot of room to play. This seems like a upscaled version of that.
It's literally just Disneyland for motorsports.
Totally
fucking great.
Awesome.
The UTV
How far
course,
outside Austin?
It's about 15-20 minutes from Coda.
Oh,
So
awesome. So
maybe
not
30
even in the middle of
minutes.
nowhere.
No,
That's great.
30 minutes from downtown.
Oh, awesome.
It feels in the middle of nowhere, but it's very close to
Yeah.
stuff.
Count me in.
And the UTV course, I think Dave took me for like the ride.
Yeah, we call it the short course.
Holy
yeah.
shit!
Oh, is this the shit your pants ride?
I mean,
They all are.
When I was, I don't know, riding
Dave's
with
driving,
someone like him,
you're shitting
like
your
I was
pants.
pretty comfortable. But and actually, this is funny. So we put on the helmets and we have comms, and he's like going over jumps, and it's in the trees and like drifting while in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And we're discussing like what modifications they might make to these to have like a
To be
rental
safer.
thing to be safer.
Yeah.
And then we're both going, isn't it weird that we're just discussing this while flying through the air? He's like, I think we're both jaded. I'm like, I think we are a little bit. And then he hit like a jump into a creek, and I was like, whoa, okay.
And we're back.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's happened before
really-
with like you're driving with some pro driver and you do some crazy shit, and you're just like, what final drive is this? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're taking notes.
Like they've
It's
got it, but also because of how many things we've done, it was a really weird thing, and we were talking. It was very meta. We were talking about it while doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys have like the puppy rescue,
Yeah.
also.
So that's a new thing we just did is the Rally Rescue, where we're rescuing dogs and other animals from all around the area that need it, and we'll do a full foster system and everything. So it's really kicking off pretty nice.
like just at the school, you've just got like a dog rescue there.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. So we just
It's a
have
great
awesome.
place to go.
Yeah.
Like it's a really great
can
place
I like
to
check
go.
out a puppy for a couple days?
Of
And, like,
course.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always thought there should be options to issue puppies with or kittens with you if you stay somewhere.
Yeah, it's nice too because the whole family can come. If the wife doesn't care about race cars, but there's 15 dogs on property, then
Yeah.
fantastic. She's set.
Yeah.
Give her a lemonade and a hammock and a bunch of dogs, and she's good to go.
It was cool, man. We
That's
did
awesome.
pendulum turns and S's and figure eights. And you guys run what, Fiestas and BRZs or things?
We've got all kinds of stuff. So we have front wheel drives that are mostly Hondas and Acuras. We've got all wheel drive, which are mostly Subarus, and then we've got rear wheel drive, which are BRZs and BMWs and anything that's not broken. So
Yeah, rotation of working and broken.
we have about
Yeah.
40 cars, and at any time, maybe 12 to 15 work.
That's that's great.
Yeah.
Good ratio.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I bet that's the best place ever to
It
play.
is so much fun.
Did you see what's his name? The 1320 video guys bought a fucking racetrack.
What?
That Cletus McFarland dude.
Wow.
They bought a racetrack in Florida.
What?
Like some shithole figure eight
Sure.
place that was like in receivership or something. I think it was like $1 million. They straight up bought a racetrack.
That's amazing.
Just to fuck around with. Yeah. And it's great. It's like Florida. It's like, I don't know, an hour outside of Tampa or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they put a video. I didn't watch the video. I just saw the Instagram post. But like, yeah, wow, that motherfucker went out and bought a racetrack, didn't he?
Were they 1320 video and then turned into Cletus McFarland? Like, I don't know what's their
No, that's
story.
that's like a character.
Okay.
Dude's name is Garrett, I think.
Gotcha.
And it's like Garrett _1320 video is his channel. I'm sorry if you're out there. I don't watch videos. I just know you from Instagram. But like,
They just build wacky, crazy.
they build
fast
wacky,
things.
crazy
Yeah.
shit and do a lot
They
of
bought a
drag
track.
cars and stuff. And it's like a figure eight track.
That's rad. That'd be really fun.
That'd be crazy. I think there's a drag strip next to it too. It's pretty beast. That seems like a good place to go play. I like the pimp nature of it.
Yeah.
Hey folks, if you're with us live on this Saturday, get in the super chat. Do we have anything queued or no? No, bullshit. But what else did I want to ask you about that show?
Oh, you want to know my other 2 jobs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your jobs?
So Rally Ready is another one. And then I also instruct at CODA with Audi driving experience. So I get to rip around R8s going 150 miles an hour on the back straight.
They're fun.
They're super fun.
They're lovely cars.
Yeah.
They take a beating.
Right. They do. For
really
us
under
especially.
stressed cars. Yeah.
And then, of course, the shredder racing thing. So I still run my own program. I have to do, wear many hats. I have to be a mechanic and a, brand manager and social media stuff and figure out how to pay for everything and build my car and, go to travel and all that sort of stuff. So
are you competing in a series with your car, or are you just trying to make videos and fuck around? And
yeah, so I've been
slang merch.
Yeah,
merch
buddy. Too, yeah, if you guys want to help out,
get that shredder racing merch, dude.
Go to fieldingshredder.com and buy a baby onesie or a sticker or a t-shirt.
There you go. Oh, I like the cartoonized stickers, yo. You got to get me one of those. Give me a big head cartoon sticker for my
I brought
my
you
camera
some stuff.
Did you?
Yeah, I got some dice for you. So
yes, the dice.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. We'll give some of them away on Instagram too.
Hell yeah.
Shredder dice.
Yeah. So
no D&D dice, bro. What kind of bullshit is this?
Man,
I want 20-sided, bro. What other than your drift car? Do you have you had other cool cars? Do you have a cool daily as well?
Yeah, so I've got a nice daily. It's an older one. It's a Lexus LS430.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the best car in the world.
A man of taste. Yeah, it is the best car in the world.
And it's the UL one, the ultra luxury. So it's air ride. It's got reclining and massaging seats and a mini fridge in the back door. The back.
So the UL LS430 is pretty much what the executive package from Japan for the Celsior is.
Exactly.
It rules. How many miles are on it?
It's got 175.
Just getting started.
Just cruising. Everything works. It's perfect.
What color is it?
It's like that platinum pewter kind of the grandpa color. Like the almost goldish.
Wait, what year would you say? Is it
it's a 01.
Okay.
It's not the Jewish racing gold, which is my favorite color, the champagne.
Right. It's like a light champagne. It's hard to describe. It's that one on the top right there.
It's more for the 430s. It's more silvery than it is.
Silvery.
Yeah, and the RXs like my mom has, it was real champagne. Yeah. Those things rule. I've always kind of been like, maybe I should get a 430 because I had a 400.
Okay.
They're the best.
It's literally the best car ever. It's got stock, chrome wheels. Everything works. Like it's got laser cruise control from 2001.
Oh, does it work?
And it works perfectly.
Really?
It's like basically a Tesla.
That's wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love those cars. I've been trying to I'm not going to say it. Don't send me links on social media before I say this.
Okay.
I've been looking for 01 GS 430s, which are pretty fast actually.
Yeah.
And it's, same powertrain as in your car and same brakes, but in a smaller, lighter car.
Sure.
And it's really, really hard to find one that's not beat to snot.
Okay.
But they're lovely. They're very nice. Those are great cars.
Yeah, I love them.
I'm a huge Lexus evangelist.
Yeah.
So I'm about that life. That's a good Texas car too.
It's perfect. I mean, AC and everything in the summer, and like it's so sealed and quiet that like it is my escape. In my 20s, I thought I'll never have a Lexus. They're so disconnected and they're so soft and like not a driver's car. And then here I am, like I don't want to drive a race car.
It never occurred to you that you might actually want that.
Yeah, that's like I work my ass off in the shop or doing whatever, driving all day. My drive home, I want to just be like a cloud.
Yeah.
Just like a blob.
Completely understandable. Yep. Yeah. I mean, your hustle game is strong. Builder, racer, pit support. You've got all the angles covered. You definitely.
Yeah, I got to do it all. So.
You're definitely in the industry for sure.
Hell yeah.
Did the show get you any subsequent work or gigs or anything? Or
I figured everyone that came out of the show would just be like stunt driver immediately.
I know, right?
Just everyone's getting a call.
Yeah, you would think. I haven't gotten any major stuff. I've done a couple commercials. I did one for the new Supra, which was cool.
Did you? There you go.
So I that actually happened before Hyperdrive. I just happened to be the exact right build they were looking for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they said it was a casting call. It was very secretive, and it said that we wanted someone under 5'10", under 150 pounds, over 30 years old with drifting experience. And I'm just like, that's me. Like
that size is because the Supra is a lot smaller in person than it looks in photos. Yeah, so they were trying to mask that.
That's exactly right. They told me they wanted the interior to look bigger.
Yeah.
But they wanted somewhere proportional. They didn't want me
Little short legs
with like long ass arms. Like I'm 5'9", I'm proportional, and I look good in a helmet, I guess.
That's very funny.
Yeah, that was it. So I got that gig. I got to drift that thing around Austin. That was cool, and some cool media from it. Unfortunately, I don't show my face or anything, so I don't get any residuals or anything. But
do you do any drifting instruction?
Yep, I do drifting instruction
at Rally Ready. Do they have
there? And I'm about to maybe start doing some with Texas Drift Academy, and I also have my own drift car that I bought specifically to train people.
Oh, really?
After the show, I've gotten a lot of people like, "Oh, can you show me how to drift?" I'm like, "Yeah,
yes,
give me some money
for $1,000 a day.
Right.
I will absolutely."
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Would you get a 240 or something?
I got a 350. Yeah, that's the move. Like that is the new drift car. So cheap, so good, and lots of aftermarket support now for it. And like you can basically just put coilovers, an angle kit, and a handbrake, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, the Drift 101 out here that I did with Naoki, it rules. And he's got a 240 and he's got a 350 with an HKS supercharger on it.
Oh wow!
That the supercharger's been in the car for a decade. And it's a school drift car, and it still works.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
That thing's great.
In Willow Springs, in the middle of the desert.
Yeah,
like,
that's
amazing that it works. Yeah.
So
because I would definitely, in Austin, do they have a skid pad at Rally Ready? Do they have a tarmac, or is it all dirt?
No, it's all dirt there, but that's actually okay. It's smooth enough. We groom it, and that's good for tire wear. You can literally go an entire day without wearing out your tires. It does blue groove eventually, so you get some grip. And
well, I've never heard that term. What's that term?
So blue groove is when the ground gets so packed and the moisture content is correct where it will actually kind of really hard pack, and then it'll glaze in, and rubber will actually lay down on the dirt.
Like
so
an
it's
oval
almost
track.
like making glass out of sand or something, where the heat and pressure eventually. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and the sun bakes it in, and then like you can actually hear tires squealing on dirt, and you're like, this is weird.
Oh, where we get that every once in a while is if you're at El Mirage and you're doing some stuff out on the or on the salt, you kind of get that the little squeal.
Yeah.
It's like not a normal squeal. It's like a mellower squeal.
They call it blue groove.
I've never heard that. It's
well, if you go to like a dirt
interesting.
oval track, like it's usually slicker at down low, or like more packed, and then there's looser dirt up top.
Yep.
And so people try to find the grip and stuff.
Exactly.
Have you guys fucked with the cross carts yet at Rally Ready?
Yeah,
those
we've
are
had
the
them out.
shit, aren't they?
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever driven anything that was more fun than a 750cc cross cart. That was bananas.
It's so funny you say that. That's actually my favorite car I've ever driven.
I mean, there's nothing better.
Yeah,
it's like driving a fly on acid.
Yeah.
I mean, the most responsive fucking.
I mean, you're instantly connected and you're comfortable. Like sequential gearbox, a proper size steering wheel, 65
1-to-1
degrees
steering,
of steering angle.
yes.
Oh, it's unreal.
The best.
Unbelievably cool. And we've had the Sierra cars out as well.
What's the difference between the Sierra and the cross cart? Because they look pretty similar.
So you got the cross cart, is modeled after a C-Mog, which is actually the best car in the world. That's a European version that's been developed for many years. And then the cross cart was kind of like a copy that was not quite as dialed. And then Sierra car, Cole, I'm actually friends with the owner, and he told me, he's like, we want to make this fucking rip. So they ground up designed their own. It's 1,000 cc. And
Same wheelbase though, or similar short wheelbase?
Very similar short wheelbase, kind of like a square.
Go for Sierra cars on if you go on Instagram, Monticello has had them, so they've got some amazing snow shots. They were mobbing them in the snow,
absolutely,
at Monticello Motor Club, and they looked amazing. But they look, very similar to the cross carts. There's a big wing on the back of them though.
So the real beauty of these Sierra cars is that literally with just a shock adjustment and different tires, you have full surface, like whatever you want. You can go snow, you put studded tires on, soften it up, boom, you're in the snow. You want tarmac, you can put some slicks on it, stiffen it up, boom, you're racing at COTA or any racetrack. And then if you want to drive dirt or mixed surface, then you can just make a change in tires and done.
It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, so that's
what are they selling them things for? Do you know?
They're $50,000.
Bro, it'd be real hard to have more fun than that for that kind of money.
You cannot get that power to weight and that exhilaration for that cheap.
I mean, I have a video that, because no one knew what a cross cart actually was, nobody watched the fucking video. But if you go watch either of my two cross cart videos, I have a dirt one and I have a tarmac one.
Yeah.
I'm having the most fun I've ever had in a fucking vehicle in both of those videos. And I went on the dirt. I went to like almost race pace in like 2 laps.
Yep.
I mean, extraordinary response on that thing.
Exactly. Like they give you too much confidence because then you're like, I am a badass, and you immediately just like find the edge. You're like, oh shit, no, maybe not. Maybe only 90% badass.
Oh, the snow one seems so fun.
Yeah. And they have like windshields. You can put a windshield on. There's lots of different small options. They have an aero package. They even built one for Pikes Peak, which was twin turbo and like a bunch of aero.
I'm trying to think, like, I want that so badly. What would I do with that in California? What could I guess Hungry Valley and fuck around. I could go just out to the desert. Just like anywhere you would bring a UTV.
Any BLM land you could do. They're a little lower than like the typical UTVs, but I mean, if you go fast enough,
they're probably good for fire roads. I mean,
Rallycross, if you could run them in Rallycross.
Oh,
because Kevin Madsen, he got us into the cross carts, and he was saying that they were going to try to put together like a spec series so you could rent seats. Like, at
he offered me
racetracks.
that. Yeah, not at Apple Valley, and then what's the other one? The
Oval,
the little Glen Helen.
Ventura,
Glen Helen. They had a ride and drive with these things with the 750s.
Yeah, Sierra Car does the same. At least they did last year. They're working on a new series since American Rallycross kind of folded. But
dude, how sick would it be if they could allow you to enter one of these in stage rally as a solo entry?
They're working on that too. These are all things that are like coming down the pipeline.
There's a lot of steering angle. It looks like too. Pretty good.
That's what I loved. I'm just drifting the whole thing.
Yeah,
tons of
everywhere,
angle.
just upshifting into fourth, like in drift. Like this is ridiculous.
No lift shift.
Yep.
Just flat footing it. I mean, it's so great. These are the best. Can you make sure you follow them for me on the gram? Sierra Cars. Yeah, definitely get into those. Do you have one of those at the Rally Ready?
We typically borrow one or two for a couple months a year. We don't own one, and I don't own one. So,
bro, we got to ship one to a Bisu.
Yeah, that's
what if you jump drift one of these fucking things?
I would love it.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Oh man, someone's got 1,000cc in this.
Yep.
Someone's got to put the engine from the BMW K1600 tourer bike, the 1.6 liter inline 6, 200 horsepower, revs to 11.
That'd be unreal.
It would sound like a Formula One car. It'd be crazy. Oh, it's the best.
Call up Cole; he'll build it for you. It's just money, right?
Bro, it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. That's awesome. So wait, the thing you came out here to do with Axel, right? Texas something.
Yeah. So
what's this about?
This is Drift Week.
Okay.
The reason I'm in LA with my stupid car on the street, right, is for Drift Week. It's this idea that the guys at Lone Star Drift, Aaron and everyone came up with, where we are literally street driving our cars from racetrack to racetrack and drifting them. So it's kind of a takeoff from drag
It's like
week.
Hot Rod Power Tour.
Yeah, or like drag week, right? Where they street drive the drag cars to the drag strip and then run them. We're doing the same, but with drift cars, which is infinitely dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's an excellent plan, though.
Yep.
I'm so about that. What a good plan.
It's been really, really exciting.
Where have you been?
Cool. And so we started in Austin. We did Harris Hill. We did.
The place is so fucking bumpy.
It
Your
is.
shocks made it out of there
So
alive.
I posted a video. I was 4 tires off, over 100 miles an hour as I entered up the crest. It was unbelievable.
That's that jump turn entry, I think.
Yeah.
He was tweeting about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Harris Hill is the bumpiest track on the planet.
Yeah.
Good thing it costs like $6 to drive.
Right. Yeah, they let us go for free.
Is that it right there?
This is Sandia, so this was the next stop on the tour. If you go to my YouTube, you can see the 4 tires off jump drift.
Where's this one? Arizona?
So this is Sandia in New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico.
So
right.
we literally drove, well, for some people it took 12 hours. For me, it took 16 to drive from Austin to New Mexico, Albuquerque. And there you go. You can see all 4 tires off. And that's literally as I'm initiating up the hill. So it was the in-car. That is hilarious.
Brake at 2 after yump.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. So that was the start of the tour.
Yeah.
And so then we street drove. I had several breakdowns along the way, which just adds to the chaos, of
Is it
course.
the same shit over and over? Or is it always different stuff?
A couple times it was fuel pump and fuel related. And then basically that was mostly it. And then wiring stuff. And then it was overheating and like just all this dumb shit that happens when you try and drive a race car on the street, which is a terrible idea. And it was so loud, like unbelievably loud. It sounded like I had a quick change in the rear end, just wee.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the next track, I realized when I went out for my first lap and I clutch kicked and the diff exploded, like, the diff is bad. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I had to swap the diff, and like I brought a spare. But just like
what diff would you use for something like that?
so mine's actually just a stock diff with a nice
Like a 240 diff?
Yep, 240 diff with a clutch type differential inside. So
Wow.
it is a two-way, but like the ring gear is stock. Yeah, and as long as you're smooth and use good fluid, then it's not too breakable.
Good to know.
You don't need to go to like a Quafe or some other built thing.
Well, you could, and like the pros run big Winters quick change, which are a couple $1,000 diff, but and huge too. Whereas mine is much more simple. Some people are swapping in 350Z diffs or like Q45 diffs, just
The
different.
Q45 one I've heard of.
Yeah, just a little bigger, a little stronger. So you can do that too, even like a 300ZX.
But it's
turbo
cool to
diff.
know
You
don't
should be
need
putting
to.
Lexus LS running gear into
Right.
these drift cars. I'm telling you.
I don't want to deal with that swap. I don't want to deal with it's hard enough getting axles and stuff to fit. So
But you have avoided the LS. You've not gone LS.
I hate the LS.
Why?
For drifting, it is the worst thing that's happened.
Why?
It is making so many drivers lazy, shitty drivers because all they have to do is just barely pedal the gas and just lug around at 3,500 RPM, and they're in drift, but it's the most boring shit you've ever seen.
That's a fair assessment.
And then you're just like, and it sounds terrible. In every drift car with an LS, except for like 4, it sounds terrible because they do use unequal length headers, they merge them terribly or don't merge them, and then they don't run like any sort of muffler or any sort of like scavenging, nothing. They're just like, it works and it makes power, and you're just like, God, you're an idiot. And
I mean, I understand those arguments.
I hate all of those things. Now, for a pro drift car, a V8 is a fantastic choice, and a lot of them have properly designed exhaust and like rev very quickly and good valve train, or maybe are boosted. Those I have no problem with. But the pro-am guy who thinks he needs an LS to drift when you really don't, you don't need anything more than like 350, 400 horsepower from any simple, reliable drivetrain,
Yeah.
and then you need to go drive your ass off. You need to learn to drive and like stay flat through the entire course and like clutch kick on transition and stuff like that. You don't need to just wheel it out and like close one eye and just putt through the course and make it. So that's why I hate the LS.
That's fair. I think that's a fair argument.
Yeah.
I hate the LS for all of those reasons.
Yep.
But I like the LS because it helps people go drifting for less money and break their cars less, and because as someone who is not very good at drifting, or I mean, I'm okay at it. I'm not competitive by any means, but I'm okay. I find it to be substantially more forgiving.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which it is.
Yep.
But
Well, power, I think
100%.
Naoki said like power just helps you solve problems that you've created. So if you go in with like 140 horsepower, you need to have your corner set up right. You need to
it's
move
not
around.
it's not even about that power. It's more about if you've got a turbo motor, half of your power band it's like in vacuum. It's like in vacuum.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like
It's a maybe.
I just think it's the wide. It's not the amount of power. It's the widening of the power band per se.
And really the torque. Like
Yeah.
you can just barely push the gas and it lights the tires off, and there you go, you're drifting. Whereas in a lower powered car, lower torque, you have to weight transfer and you have to pay attention to line. You have to have steering control and commitment with the throttle.
The commitment thing, because if you have lower power, once you commit to your angle and then you're like, you're deep in the gas pedal, like you have to set your corner and then stay right there. But if I found like when I started sliding my E46 or the 350Z, the difference between that and a 140 horsepower 240 is if I felt the wheels starting to grip up and I'm starting to lose my slide, I could just add a little throttle and it would just kind of fix it.
Yep.
But if the 140, if you lose it, you basically have to restart the course of the exercise.
Or you have to like feel that you're losing it and then clutch kick and
Yeah.
flatten
Or that,
it
yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And you have to really force it. Whereas a V8 or a high torque car is easy to just cruise around.
Someone just put a JDM AE86 on Bring a Trailer yesterday, and I was driven a couple of those 86s, and every one of them has been spectacular.
Yeah.
Drove one with a black top, one with a silver top, and one with a S2000 motor swap, and every one of them was incredible.
That's awesome.
And that's the most fun.
Those are driver's cars. You gotta want it on those.
Yeah, and you got to listen to the New Zealand guys. It's got to have some give, because in New Zealand they race in the street. Like legally, they have hill climbs and street sprints, which are flat hill climbs, every single weekend in that country.
Hell yeah!
And so the roads are really bumpy and shit, and so their cars have like a lot of suspension travel and like absorb bumps and stuff.
Right.
And they're rad. They're so great.
That place is the best.
Everybody drives a rally car. It's the coolest. Yeah. Let's go to a couple of questions from the folks. What does that say? Weirenfeld wants a 30th birthday watch. Oh, a watch choice. How much? $2,000 on a bracelet. $2,000. You're looking at a couple brands. You're looking at used, of course, Breitling, Omega, Speedmaster, or Seamaster. We get watch nerd stuff too here. Sorry.
Gotcha. I'm so
Bell
lost
and
right
Roth.
now.
No, I used to do a watch podcast.
Okay.
And I stopped it because it got too watch nerdy and I just couldn't take it anymore.
Gotcha.
And some of the watch things have come over here. So
Gotcha,
we get a couple questions about watch advice. $2,000 to $2,500. I think the best watch you can buy is an Omega Speedmaster used, or like a Breitling Super Ocean. You can't get into a Navitimer for that on a bracelet. That's where I would start, or a Seamaster. Adjunct 1717 wants a $130,000 weekend car for flat and straight Florida. There's a lot of options there. I mean, you're talking dragsters. So you're talking Corvette ZR1s. You're talking about turbocharged used Gallardos at that point.
I'd get like a used Noble.
A Noble.
That would be sick.
For flat and straight? I don't know about a flat. Now maybe you need some corners for a Noble.
Yeah, but they go like really fast.
They are fast.
Yeah, they're so fast.
Here's one for you. I just spent the last week driving the Hennessy HPE 1000 Grand Cherokee, which is a Jeep Grand Cherokee with 1,000 horsepower.
Yep.
I put a video up of it. It does 0 to 60 in 2.6, the quarter mile in 10.2, and has a top speed of 200 miles an hour. It is utterly invisible on the road. That is a Florida car, my friends.
There you go.
Huge frontal area for great cooling and a zillion fucking horsepower.
Right.
Perfect. All season tires for when it rains.
Yeah,
I did a launch. I did a 2.6 0 to 60 launch on all seasons.
That's unreal.
It has so much power that when you use the factory launch control system, it overpowers it and does a rear wheel drive burnout, even though it's an all wheel drive car. It's ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Next question. Your top 3 dream cars. Money, no object.
Money,
no object.
Money, no object. An F40 LM is number 1. That's it. And then I never even think about 2 and 3 because it's just the one.
Because the one ends it.
The one. Man. How about another F40 LM?
A regular F40 for
F40,
street
maybe an
driving.
F50. I don't know.
Those are good.
Yeah.
The top tier Ferraris are good. I'll go with F40. McLaren F1 is my jam, and the third one I already have my Countach.
We go 575 Maranello.
Yeah.
McLaren F1 and BJ Baldwin's Funhaber.
Oh, BJ Baldwin's. Yeah.
We've had that at the ranch too.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet that won the jump contest, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was good.
I actually got BJ's number and have been texting him a little bit, and he's going to come see us when he is in town.
Sick.
Yes, he's happy to come see us. I can't read that bottom
I gotta
one.
zoom out for
You do?
that one.
How does that work? What does it say?
Oh, there's soccer ball.
Oh, fielding is just the coolest dude ever. That's a good thing to say.
Dave wanted me to ask you about Cheddar Bob.
Oh, thanks, Dave. The Cheddar Bob is what they call my haircut because it's different than I guess what they're expecting or whatever. I don't know.
What?
But the Cheddar Bob. And so one time we had an instructor, David Moss, who would go and get his haircut like mine just to shoot like a spoof video, and then he'd have to go back the next day and get his haircut again. Like he's paying double haircuts just
to do a spoof
for
video about you.
Like, this is thanks to
Johnny Lieberman did. Remember Johnny Lieberman did my haircut once? He
That was a good
committed. That
video.
was fucking funny. That was great. Get back here, Johnny. Don't be a bitch. All right, so Fielding Shredder, what do you want to promote before we get out of here? Your Shredder. Oh, hit follow, dude. Shredder Racing on Instagram.
Yeah, Shredder Racing on Instagram. You'll see most updates. My YouTube channel I'm trying to promote right now a lot, so you guys go to YouTube and type Fielding Shredder, and you'll find that. And I would appreciate a subscribe there and just watch all my videos. You're going to get to see all the crazy antics from Drift Week and beyond. We're going to be doing a bunch of cool stuff on the channel. I'm going to be doing a full build series, teaching people exactly what to buy, how to buy it, how to build it, and then how to go drifting for their first drift car. So we're going to be doing...
It's a righteous mission.
Yeah, we're gonna roll that out later on next month. And so that's going to be pretty exciting because I get that question a ton. Like, I want to go drifting, and what do I do? And I'm like, well, I need to make a video for this. I can't keep answering all the comments, you know? And then just, I guess merch stuff is good. I mean, sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to ship merch because I'm traveling and stuff.
Oh, so you're not doing that yourself, are you?
100%.
Oh, we need to help you out with like Blip Shift or something. You can't. You can't also
hard.
Be the customer service guy. We learned that. We tried to do that in the beginning. It's a fucking disaster. You don't want to be stocking merch and having my shirt never showed up. Yeah, because I'm racing in California. Like that can't happen. We got to set you up with the guy.
Okay,
you'll be all right. Don't worry about it. That's a step up from you. You're gonna like not having to deal with that ever again. Yeah. Thanks for coming to see us, dude.
Yeah, this was fun. I appreciate it. I mean, just keep trying to live in the dream, and any
you're doing well.
To come out my way, I'm game.
You're definitely doing well, dude. We're happy to have you. Next time you've got something to sell, come back and see us.
All right, cool.
For sure, man. Thanks. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally something to say. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.